behalf of Deutsche Börse, good afternoon and welcome to the panel 2022, Listing in Volatile Times. My name is Caroline von Linsingen and I have the honor to present you today's panelists. Please welcome with me Dr. Martin Steinbach, Partner and Head of IPO and Listing Services, Ernst & Young, Simon Telian, CEO, Advanced Blockchain, and Max Weiland, CEO, beaconsmind. Before we kick off with the first question, let's quickly set the stage. The stock market in 2022 has been one of the most volatile markets on record. Having plummeted 36% within the first 9 months, the DAX has climbed again 20% since late September. Investor optimism rests on shaky grounds. Geopolitical tensions, inflation fears, the crypto market in disarray, to only name a few of the critical threats occupying the minds of the global CEOs. Yet, while the external market environment offers significant challenges, many executives are remaining resolute in adapting their portfolios and ecosystems to compete in the new world that is emerging before their eyes. Simon, Deutsche Börse firmly and heartily promotes a strong German capital market. It is our ambition to strengthen our listed companies and act as catalyst for the next generation of SMU leaders. Advanced Blockchain recently performed a dual listing into Deutsche Börse's scale segment. You are a public listed investor and venture builder in the blockchain industry, and your portfolio includes 50 companies, both on the token and on the equity side. How do you describe the current market environment for your sector, and what is the most pressing challenge your company faces in these turbulent times?
Thank you, Caroline. Yeah, the global crypto market has slid down dramatically from over $2 trillion a few months back to now just under $900 billion. So us from Advanced Blockchain and our portfolio companies are using these challenges time to double down on our early stage investments and really looking into our portfolio companies on where we can see where growth is happening these days. So where I see that as a big challenge, these markets, we also really look into which investments make sense these days and really double down. Last month, we, for instance, announced that we invested into our portfolio company called Polkadot and re-entered a position and invested more than $1 million because we truly believe in the technology and the underlying team, which is building on a day-to-day basis. So turbulent times, but also a lot of opportunities with those corrected valuations.
Okay, great to hear. Max, in 2022, beaconsmind also performed a dual listing into Deutsche Börse scale segment. For those who don't know, beaconsmind is a tech company for location-based marketing. It offers localization technology and a software suite which allows retailers to converge digital and physical shopping and address the convenience gaps of each. What common misconception do investors have regarding volatile times? And the second question, how can we combat these misconceptions and communicate more effectively? What has been your experience?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So to answer your question, it might be good to be a professional investor. So in my position, I'm the CEO of beaconsmind, right? But when you ask me from my perspective and position, I would say the most or biggest misconception is that to not be close to the startups the investors are invested in, to also be close to the business model as the volatile times, and understand that it's crucial to be very close to support with more cash, because mostly small cap stocks are high in burn rate and high in growth, so they need growth capital. So the biggest misconception is that they get back and don't invest to further growth and squeeze and see them as a P&L, right? And I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions in the market out there when you ask me for my position.
Yeah, very true. And what do you say is one of the challenges that your company is facing at current?
So, you know, small cap markets are depressed, right? Highly volatile times, we have insecurities everywhere. And for us, it's a growth company. It's always crucial to have money for further growth. Even we have stable cash flows, we are growing, we try to improve the EBIT from month to month, from year to year, right? Becoming a profitable organization. But in these days, it's very challenging, especially for small cap companies. So we can combat them in having a transparency to the investors and being very honest to them, what does it mean and what the challenges are we are facing right now, and making them understand that we have a long-term perspective, and giving them more conviction of further investments into our company, as well as other small caps, to strengthen the market and having some new diamonds on the stock markets.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. Maybe one question that was not planned, but how do you communicate that to your investors?
To be honest, we have very strong investors, anchor investors we're very close to, working with their analysts, for example. They are supporting us in the daily business. So for us, it's not a question that the investors are not close to us, because they are transparent in many ways. And so we have not such a problem. But I think other companies should follow this and being closer to the investors, because this is the only way to give them the transparency they need and to give them the conviction to further investments.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Very important. Martin, as one of Germany's most renowned experts on IPOs and listing, what is your take on the current market environment? Have IPOs and listing changed over the past 5 years?
Yeah, good question. I think we moved from boom to bust in the past 5 years. We all remember the flood of money that joined the market. It was cheap money, and that brought us last year, which was a record year, over 2,400 IPOs. And this year, it's the bust. So we expect a half of IPOs globally. And the good news, I would say, is that we are close to the same levels of 2020 and 2019. So it's not that much worse that we would perceive. And what changed? We saw a lot of birthdays of unicorns in the last 2 years. I think we are close to 30 or 32 unicorns due to this cheap money, due to disruption, and due to the higher importance of ESG. We all remember ESG was introduced by the EU in 2017, and it's getting more and more popular also for IPOs, that you have it upfront and not after you listed. You have a proper ESG strategy in hand to approach more investors. What else? Also, the longer term view came to the market. We all remember Larry Fink and his letter to the CEO in the world to think about ESG, to think about long-term orientation of CEOs. So the complaint with capital markets that we think short-term in quarters changed, in my perception, a bit to a more longer-term sustainable business models.
Yeah, that's a very interesting observation. Many thanks for that. Looking out to 2023 and the years that are coming, is there any specific new trends that you would see?
You know, investors will be more selective. So what counts is a high qualitative equity story. We also see that investors want to see a clear path to profitability. It's not enough to show top-line growth, and that's all. So it's important to look at EBIT, EBITDA kind of KPIs, and that there's a clear achievement in the short term compared to the previous years. And the second thing is also, we all know it's over that we have the period of cheap money. So we see interest rate hikes all over the world, from Fed, the Bank of England, and also to European Central Bank. So investors are more, selective, having also these interest rate curves in the back with regards to their minimum return on investments.
Yeah, thank you for that. Simon, how is advanced blockchain positioned today, and what's ahead for you?
Good question. Since listing in the scale segment of Deutsche Börse earlier this year, we have committed ourselves to more transparency and communicating more frequently with the capital markets. This has led to an increased amount of investors reaching out to us, we getting listed on their watch lists, and what advanced blockchain really enables the investors, the new investors which came in, is access to our unique early stage deal flow, as well as our unique incubation portfolio. So looking ahead, we really want to place some more investments in the early stage field, in the blockchain industry, but at the same time also keep building new innovations, because we truly believe in the underlying technology, and the success really speaks for itself. I mean, we produce global ventures like Composable Finance, which is one of our flagship incubations, which recently raised $32 million on a combined valuation of $400 million. So my team and I, we're consistently looking for new innovations out there and then keep building even in these volatile times.
Great, good to hear. Thank you very much. Max, how is beaconsmind positioned today, and what is ahead for you?
So our position is global, right? Right now we're operating in more than 40 countries. We have a clear focus on growth path in the Middle East. We have recently organized our institutional measures with the Royal Family of Dubai in the UAE. We have this morning announced that we have closed a partnership with the BIAC, which is a company from the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia. So we go to new markets successfully because we see high demand there. And right now it's not Europe, right? Because these are vibrant, high demanding markets. So this is where we go with our technology to get the most out of it. And this is the clear path of growth we follow.
Great, sounds very good. Martin, last questions goes to you. How does Ernst & Young see the German capital market? And what actions must we take to advance the potential and performance of our capital market?
Yeah, I think that first of all, if you, as an entrepreneur being a private company, the first thing to think about capital market is really to evaluate whether an IPO brings value to your company and to your stakeholders. So it starts at an early stage with this strategic evaluation. Then the second thing is to prepare early, so 2 to 3 years before you intend to go public, and then to transform the company from a private company to a public company also in the public spotlight, and that's a lot of change management. So you need to change infrastructure, processes. There is new content like IFRS. To give you one example, there's a change in culture as we all need to organize, the infrastructure ready for the market abuse regulation. We all in this room know ad hoc disclosure, insider regulation, closed periods, and this type of things. These are a clear must in a company, and it involves all head of corporate services, whether it's HR, marketing, PR, accounting, controlling, forecasting, the corporate finance unit, and the board. That's for sure. So 2 to 3 years pre-IPO, you need to start when you intend to go public. And then this is also a starting point for Deutsche Börse to welcome the right IPO candidates that are well prepared and ready for investors. So what needs to change next year? As you mentioned, volatility came down. We are in the volatility DAX below 20, and by statistics, this is if it lasts longer than just 1 month or 2. This is a good sign that the risk is not that much in the market anymore. We need to look at valuation levels. You mentioned the DAX moved up 20% in the past 2 months. Let's cross fingers that this ends up with a year-end rally so that we have a good momentum for 2023.
Well, that's a great way to end this panel. I share your optimism. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Max and Simon. And yeah, I think to quickly give you the key messages that we're going to take away from this panel. So first of all, entrepreneurs can adapt to current market dynamics and are seeking ways to stay competitive amid inflation and other issues. Stock exchange listings not only offer high visibility vis-à-vis investors, they also give entrepreneurs the flexibility to capitalize on opportunities. And Germany is facing enormous challenges with regards to digitalization, climate neutrality, pension system that is fair to all generations. So given that the public budget is heavily burdened, obviously private investment and private wealth creation are decisive success factors. And in this situation, especially we as Deutsche Börse believe that the competitiveness of our capital market plays a key role for conversion into a more sustainable and successful future. Thank you very much.